You ever have one of those moments where you think your life's finally settled peaceful? Even then, someone comes along and slaps you with a bill so outrageous you can't tell if it's a prank or the setup to a bad reality show. Yeah, well, that was me, sitting on my porch in Aspen Hollow Reserve watching Dolores Keene, our self-anointed HOA president, slam a $50,000 invoice down on my patio table like she was serving up justice. Community restoration fees, she said, sharp as a tack. You owe it immediately or legal action follows. For what unapproved gravel, she snapped, like I'd single-handedly destroyed her vision of suburban heaven. I almost laughed until she got real serious. And I've already contacted enforcement. That's when Sean, my friend. And as it turned out, a state police investigator stepped outside, badge flashing, voice calm, but with that unmistakable weight. Ma'am, you just extorted a federal officer's neighbor. We need to talk. Name's Brent Holloway, by the way. 41 architectural drafter, backyard grill master, and apparently public enemy #1 in Dolores's HOA empire. I moved to Aspen Hollow to get away from all that HOA madness. My realtor, Big Smile, said it was a reasonable HOA, nothing to worry about. Looking back, that smile should have been a warning, one of those grimaces you get right before the dentist tells you the bad news. Dolores introduced herself before I'd even unpacked, not with a pie or a welcome to the neighborhood, but with, "Don't get too attached to your mailbox. It's non-compliant. I swear if a kindergarten teacher and a drill sergeant had a kid who grew up to hate fun, that'd be her." There she was in a floral blazer making notes on my moving truck for being aggressively yellow. At first I thought she was joking. She wasn't. 2 days in, I get my first HOA notice. My mailbox, vintage bronze, clashed with the contemporary aesthetic. $75 fine. I paid it thinking surely that's the end. Boy, was I naive. Next came the gravel path, 3 feet of white stones, winding through the hostas I'd planted, just a touch of rustic charm. My neighbors loved it. Even old Harold from 2 doors down, who hasn't said anything nice since Watergate, grunted, "Looks good." Dolores, though, she called it psychologically abrasive. I got an official letter red circle around a photo of my walkway violation scrawled across it like a warning sign. $200 for unauthorized landscape modification plus $50 for emotional distress to community standards. It only got stranger. My fence was cited for being too contemplative. My garage door was emotionally cold. Apparently the white wasn't warm enough. My wind chimes, of all things, were said to interfere with migratory thought patterns. Her words, not mine. $300, $450, $600 in fines. Each one came with an explanation wilder than the last. I tried reasoning with her. Went to an HOA meeting thinking maybe I could talk sense into these folks. Dolores sat at the head, flanked by Gladys, who nodded like a bobblehead at everything she said, and Roger, who spent the whole meeting playing solitaire on his phone. I explained the gravel path helped with drainage. She countered, "It promotes anarchist landscaping tendencies." I pointed out white is a normal garage color, not your white. Yours screams nonconformity, wind chimes, not on the approved ambient sounds list. The other residents looked exhausted, beaten down by years of this nonsense. Turns out I wasn't the only target. The Pattersons got fined for a bird bath too inviting to unregulated wildlife. The Thewins kids' chalk art was temporary vandalism. Edith Graves, who's 87, got dinged because her roses bloomed too exuberantly. But I hit my limit with the wind chime fine. I refused to pay. Then came the certified envelope, our $50,000 in restorative landscape and morale penalties. Itemized like some deranged restaurant bill, $15,000 for community aesthetic damages, $12,000 for HOA president emotional stress reimbursement, $5,000 for administrative suffering. I thought it was a prank until I saw the legalese at the bottom threats of property liens collection agencies. This was real, or at least Dolores thought it was. I found out she'd actually filed a lien when I tried to refinance my mortgage. My loan officer, Patricia, called me half laughing, half shocked. Is this for real? Emotional damage from gravel? That's when I got Sean involved. He listened, then said, Brent, don't sign anything. Don't pay. If she shows up again, call me. Sure enough, next weekend, Dolores came marching up the driveway, Gladys and Roger trailing behind her, plus some guy in his 20s with aviator sunglasses and a clipboard who she claimed was a private security consultant. She held up a thick folder, final collection before foreclosure. Sean stepped out, badge ready, voice like ice. I'm investigator Sean Morrison, State Police Internal Affairs. Let's see some ID. Dolores went from red to white to a kind of seasick green. This is official HOA business, she insisted, but her voice had lost its edge. Sean, cool as ever, asked the security consultant for his license. The kid fumbled, handed over a card. Neighborhood Enforcement LLC clip, Art of Binoculars, looked like he printed it at home. What's your role here? Sean asked. The guy stammered about consultation services. Sean cut him off. You a licensed professional? Well, not exactly. And then Sean turned to Dolores. Ma'am, you just presented a fraudulent invoice and attempted to extort a civilian with fabricated authority. That's wire fraud impersonation harassment. Filing a fake lien, bringing in a fake security officer, that's conspiracy. Dolores looked like she was about to faint. Gladys actually stepped back. Roger finally looked up from his phone. But I'm the HOA president, Dolores squeaked. Sean didn't flinch. You have authority to enforce reasonable covenants, not invent fines, file fake liens, or intimidate people with made-up officers. May I see your board minutes and bylaw approvals? Dolores clutched her folder tighter. They're confidential HOA documents. Sean raised an eyebrow. No, they're not. HOA records are required to be available to all members. You don't have approval, do you? That's when it unraveled. Sean called for backup. Within an hour, 2 uniformed officers were there taking statements. The security consultant cracked fast. Turned out he was Dolores's nephew. Tyler paid in gas station gift cards. Worked at a pet store. A state investigation started up almost overnight. Neighbors started talking, stories poured out. Dolores had collected thousands in bogus fines, then spent the money on her own deck extension, a koi pond, and I kid you not, a fountain shaped like a flamingo doing Tai Chi. She'd filed my lien using a made-up property code from some sovereign citizen website, no legal standing, but enough to screw up my mortgage until Patricia cleared it. She even filed a complaint with the state attorney general. Digging deeper, investigators found Dolores had taken in over $200,000 in fake fines in 3 years. She had spreadsheets rating neighbors by compliance personality. Some folks marked likely to pay without questioning, others requires intimidation. The Patterson's bird bath fine bought her a new patio set. Thewin's chalk citation paid for her trip to Hawaii. Edith's rose bush fine. Down payment on a white SUV for HOA business. Gladys and Roger, the board members, didn't even know she'd been forging their signatures running secret meetings. Gladys broke down crying during her interview, said she thought she was helping the community, but had been too scared to question Dolores. Roger admitted he'd stopped paying attention years ago. Dolores would shout down anyone who disagreed. It all came crashing down at a town hall meeting. Dolores was unveiling her latest crusade, mandatory fence tone standardization, mid-PowerPoint about the psychological impact of mismatched stains when the officers cuffed her. Someone got it on video, her pointing at a chart, getting handcuffed, still arguing about beige fences. That face went viral. Reddit memed it. When you realize HOA doesn't stand for Homeowner Overlord Association. She got hit with charges, fraud, misappropriation, impersonation of an official. The judge, clearly tired of her act, gave her 18 months in minimum security and ordered her to pay $250,000 in restitution. Banned her from any HOA for life. When the sentence dropped, Dolores shouted, "But who will maintain aesthetic standards?" Judge just looked at her and said, "Hopefully someone with sense." The whole room laughed. Dolores turned purple, then white, then fainted right there. So now Aspen Hollow is a little less dramatic. My gravel's still there. The wind chimes sing. Folks wave more, smile easier. Every so often a new neighbor will ask about the gravel gate story and I'll shake my head. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. But hey, who decides what's truly right or wrong in a community? Justice is messy. Sometimes the ones keeping order are the ones who need watching the most. So tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Let's hear your thoughts. What's fair? What's just? And how far is too far for an HOA to go? Drop your story or opinion below. I promise no fines.